Well, for more, we can speak now to economics professor Anthony Black at the Prism University of Cape Town. Thank you very much indeed for speaking to us, Professor. Clearly, the pandemic has taken a terrible toll on businesses there in South Africa. What's the government doing about that?
Yes, well, it's had a huge effect, and the economy was in trouble even before the pandemic started. So we have recently, or this week, in fact, the president announced a big 500 billion rand rescue plan. It's about 25 billion euro, which is going to provide income support for firms, loan guarantees, and a whole range of support measures, partly through the existing welfare system, for example, an increase to the child grant and an increase to other social grants. So this is a pretty big package in South Africa in terms of the size of South Africa's economy. It's a very big package.
And just how bad has the economic damage been? Are there any indicators you can offer us?
Well, it's really a difficult number. I mean, the forecasts of the sort of decline in GDP this year have been, falling quite rapidly. But I guess I would expect perhaps around 10% decline in GDP this year. I mean, I think, as we all know, it's very difficult to predict, but it has been a huge impact, and also the impact on the poor has been dramatic because, of course, South Africa is quite a large informal sector, already a very high rate of unemployment, and a lot of people who are not part of any kind of safety net type of system at the moment.
Right, and I mean, do you envisage a scenario whereby, once the lockdown measures start being eased, the pent-up demand from these last 5 weeks or so would result in some sort of a rebound? And would that rebound be enough to make up for any or much of the lost ground, do you think, Professor?
Well, it will help a bit, but there's also been income which has just not been earned as well. So there are plenty of salary earners out there who are keen to go out and spend, and wage earners who've still been receiving some kind of wage. But I think there's clearly going to be a lot of lost income which simply won't be recovered. Part of that will be made up for by the relief measures which have been announced by President Ramaphosa.
Okay, and just lastly, I mean, just anecdotally, really, any signs that, this lockdown has it been really observed? Has it been adhered to? Have South African people really bought into this whole idea of absolutely staying indoors, staying out of harm's way?
Right. Well, I think in some areas that has been the case. Certainly not in all areas. I mean, if you're living in a small shack, it's very difficult to stay at home if they're a large family living in a small shack. So I think generally it has been supported. I think there's after 4 weeks of a very strict lockdown, people are looking for change, and it's going to be slightly relaxed next week. But I think generally there's been strong support for the government on this whole program, and I certainly think that the lockdown has had a positive effect in reducing the new infections.